What's in the cards for you this week as we look ahead at this weekly energy weather report? What's the moon doing? How you can navigate the energy of the stars to make life go a whole lot smoother, to have so much more fun, and to not feel like life is just happening to you where everything's out of control, but a way to consciously engage. That's what I love to dive into on our Monday mornings together every morning or every morning. Oh, well, that would be something. Every Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. live Eastern time. I come to you and I share what's going on in the stars around you, as well as the sacred energy practices that you can start to utilize to make the most of the circumstances. And that's something that hopefully is a little bit different than just an energy weather report. I love being able to find out what's happening. And it's one thing to know, okay, well, there's going to be a full moon, but there's a whole other thing that happens when you start to realize, oh, I can start engaging with the moon like this in order to really tap into the most potential and the potency of the opportunity. It's kind of like, sometimes we get these wonderful, complicated techno gadgets, whether it's our car or our phones, and we don't realize the power that we're holding in our hands. Because, like, oh, okay, I know how to make phone calls or to text, or I know how to, navigate certain apps. But then, you start to see all these tips and hints and tricks of, let's say the iPhone tricks, or, did you know you could take photographs like this? Or did you know that you could set a timer? Or it's fascinating to me how often we have things right in our very own hands, within our very own being, that we don't recognize the potential of, because many times we're in a rush. We're trying to go from A to B. We don't have a lot of time. And to sit down and to read a manual, or in the case of us as a spiritual being having a human experience, to sit down and meditate, to connect with that internal manual. And side note, for meditation, we definitely don't have to just sit. There's all kinds of ways to meditate. There's moving meditation, there's focused meditation, like where we gaze at something. There are internal gaze points as well as external. There is mantras or affirmations where we can use sound to help us move into meditation. The thing about being in a meditative state, sometimes you hear it as being in a state of flow, is that you're in a place where time gets suspended. The external distractions quiet and they go by the wayside. And one way that I know I'm in a deep meditative state is that time goes by and I don't even realize. There's this peacefulness and there's this calm and this sense of, I just want to stay here. I'm content. The yogis call it santosha. There's a contentment. And what we learn when we are doing these practices, because hi, Julie. Hello, Hannah. Yeah, definitely. As you jump on, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I always love to connect us across the globe because I know we're an international community, and that makes my heart so happy to bring us all together here Monday mornings to play energy and to talk about stars, moon, and the like. But to go back to what I was saying is that one of the reasons I love tracking the moon is that the moon is a reflection of our emotions and our intuition. And if we can pay attention to what the moon is doing in the heavens above, it can sometimes give us an inner clue of why we might be feeling certain big emotions, or the way the intuition hits a little bit differently. And we're going to dive into that for each day this week. But when we have that little hint or clue, hello, Krista, great to have you live. When we have that little clue of what's happening with the moon, all of a sudden we realize we don't have to ride the roller coaster of emotions. So one of the things the yogis also strive for is equanimity. How do we get into an even keel so we're not all the way always up and down on the waves of emotion? One of those ways that we do that is by having the data, knowing what's going on in the world around us, in the heavens and cosmos, stars above, and being grounded. And when we're grounded and when we're in a place of presence, then we don't take things so personally. Then we're less likely to get what I call energetically whacked, where we take things so personally, we forget where our energy ends and others begin. So that's what I really want to talk about today is the fear. when we have a lot of uncertainty, when we have a lot of things that we don't know, when we're missing the data, essentially, we go into a place of fear. And that fear, the anxiety, the mind starts to spin up. And when it spins up, we end up kind of, I'll use that word, it's a little strong, but we can end up in a world of lies, whether we're lying to ourselves and self sabotaging and not realizing the potency that we contain within us and all the potential and possibility. But to give yourself that opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to stop this cycle of fear and I'm going to reclaim my power, my individuality. And this full moon this week on Wednesday, it's a full moon in Leo, is going to help assist with that. Let's get into the week without further ado and just hand on your heart. Hopefully, we have our friends with us now. For all those watching now and in the future, with your hand on your heart, just tune in and ask, what's the most important thing that I need to know for this week ahead? Right? It's there's a Beatles song. There's a couple songs actually that are popping to my head. That's why I giggle. But it is about a divine energetic exchange of energy. There's the Beatles song. There's two songs. This is terrible. My husband's going to yell at me. Not really yell at me. I say that it's not, but I feel like I'm disappointing him. Who was the band? It's like, you don't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. So that's not the Rolling Stones, is it? But there's also the other song, Beatles. In the end, it's not the love you take, it's the love you make. This is a card about giving. It's a card about giving and receiving. It's a 6 of Pentacles, covering that little 6 there. 6 in numerology represents artistry. Thank you, Julie. It is the Rolling Stones. It's like that moment I'm on the spot. I could hear like the do, 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 do. No, who was the band? Oh, thank you. So the 6 of Pentacles, 6 is about artistry. It's about harmony. It represents the Libra energy. And you think of the scales. And there's a beautiful story of Maat, the Egyptian goddess, the goddess who greets you when you cross over to the other world, so to speak. You go across, mixing my mythology, go across the river Styx. But when you die and go to the other side, let's say, when your spirit expands beyond the physical body, in Egyptian tradition and the ancients, you'd be greeted by Maat. And Maat would weigh, she had her scales, your soul against a feather. And if your soul wasn't as light as the feather, you weren't granted entry into paradise, let's say. So the 6 of Pentacles, this week as you're going into it, it's important that you make sure that it sits well with your soul, meaning you can use that as a filter when you are going through your actions. Are you doing something that you would look back and later regret? Are you doing something that lifts you up and lights you up and makes you so happy? Are you doing something that is giving beyond what you necessarily have to give? And you end up feeling depleted and drained and exhausted. You want to give in divine right balance, to be open to receiving as much as to be open to giving. I know a lot of the people who tune in, a lot of my clients, a lot of my students, those I've spoken to in the community, you're a community of givers and you take care of so many other people. So where in this world, where in this moment can you open your heart to receive? There's great joy when gifts are given. So allow other people to have that joy in giving you the gift and you receiving it. So Hannah, you're in the Czech Republic. Fabulous. So glad you could join us. I thought you were over there. Thank you for letting us know. It's always fun to know where everyone's from. It makes this world a little bit smaller. And that's a little bit what I want to talk about today with the Aquarian energy, Sun's in Aquarius, full moon Leo on Wednesday. And before I forget, my name's Irina Miller. In case we haven't met, I'm an astrologer, a spiritual life guide, and it is my joy to connect empaths, big-hearted feelers to the sacred practices and tools that enable them to live the life they were born to live. So I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being here. And if you get a chance to subscribe to the channel, if you haven't, hit the like to help with the algorithm to get this message out. Hit that bell to be notified when I go live. I'm so grateful. I'm looking forward to growing this channel and to using this as an area of light, of hope, and to make sure that you have the techniques and tools you need to navigate this world with grace. Okay, let's talk. And if you have questions, pop them in the comments. But let's talk about the overarching energy of the week. I always like to look at the phase of the moon because that gives us some clues sometimes to how our energy levels will go. Is it always, an exact even exchange? Maybe not necessarily, but that's why I like to track it. So many of you guys have the moon journal, and in the moon journal, I have it all set up so you can track where is the moon, what's my mood, what do I need to know? I pull a card, and I'm pulling cards for you guys too this week, as I do every week. But when we are in that moment where the moon is waxing, which is happening now, we're in a waxing gibbous phase, going to the full moon on Wednesday. Energy can be building. We're coming towards a full moon, which is culmination. It is a time of celebration. It's a moment to wrap something up. So if you're working on a project, maybe, you can't always finish a project in an exact moon cycle, but you have different cycles of the project that you can tick off and say, okay, this part of the project is complete. It's very satisfying to be able to check things off your list. So think about that this week. Think about what you wished for on the new moon 2 weeks ago. What were you hoping to create and shift? Go back and look at your notes. Again, that's why we write it down, because then you have the data to go back to, and it's not just willy-nilly. You can start to see the patterns when they're written down. One of the reasons I created this was because the moon journal, when I was younger, and it's all sports ball to me, unfortunately. I'm not a big sports person, but my uncle is really into baseball. And I remember going to baseball games, and baseball games could be so boring, 3 hours just sitting there. Why? Because I didn't understand the game. I didn't know what was going on. But when he taught me how to score, all of a sudden I could see the patterns and I could see the strategy, and it became exciting. And I then knew a little bit more into maybe the coach's mindset as far as like, okay, here's what we're going to do when this next person comes up to bat or pitch. So it's the same thing. Collect the data. Where's the moon? What's your mood? Pull a card. What do I need to know about this moment now? And Jasmine, hello. You said new build self-confidence in yourself when you feel like you have to depend on if people like you or not. Yeah. And they're not okay with that. I know this is a great point, Jasmine. I want to talk about that today. Part of the Leo full moon, and let's just jump into that. The Leo full moon is about being the queen and the king of the jungle. It's about, stepping into the sun. The Leo energy and the sun energy are very much in harmony. Leo rules the sun. It's stepping into that energy and saying, I am here. Hear me roar. When I speak, I expect to be respected and listened to and valued. I am there's a specialness to the Leo energy in the sense of they signify and connect with the energy of royalty. Their opposite or complementary sign, Aquarius, they're very unique and they're very special. They have a way of looking at things in a totally outside the box, unique way. And yet at the same time, they are looking to build community and to build a place where they belong. The Leos, on the flip side, as they celebrate their individuality, their prowess, their specialness, they're stepping it into a way as kind of like, I'm leading the group I'm with. It's kind of like, love the one you're with. There's an old song from Finian's Rainbow. Did you ever see that musical? This is why I'm not a sports ball person. My parents' mom was a musician, and so I saw a lot of corny musicals growing up. But it's if I'm not near the girl I love the girl I'm near. Holy cannoli. I don't think that passed the tests of time, but oh my goodness. Jasmine, you're an Aquarius. So yeah, so you would get it. So the Aquarian energy, they're the flip side of Leo. And as we have moved and we're moving into, we haven't officially moved into the age of Aquarius, and the sun's in Aquarius, and Pluto just moved into Aquarius for the first time in like 164 years. The thing is that we're stepping into an age of technology. We're stepping into an age of the people, we the people, into humanitarianism, into the collective, into belonging and creating a harmonious world. And what happens is there are moments where we can lose our identity and ourself when we just get stuck in group mind, right? There's a fine line. And that's why I love teaching energy, because the more that we strengthen our energy muscles, the easier it is to start to notice when we go over that fine line. Kind of like, the dinner table, if you eat too much and you're like, oh, I thought I was okay, but I had that one more bite or that one more serving, and oh, that was too much. I got to remind myself, don't do that again. Same thing with energy. We can feel like, okay, wait a second, I'm losing my identity. How do we stay grounded? How do we stay present? Because if we get sucked into that group mind, we get trapped in the cycle of fear because something outside of us is setting the emotional pattern. So the Leo reminds you to say, you're special. Like, step into that, claim your power as a royal one. And it can feel a little odd if we don't have any Leo placements. Oh, and Julie said there's a 70s song, Love the One You're With. Yeah, I think I'm thinking of that too. The music is coming through today. Holy cannoli. So, what I'm going to invite you to do with this Leo full moon, and I'm going to pull, oh, good, I do have it up right here, is to note that this Leo full moon, as we're going into it, Mercury plays its own little role. No, okay, so that's Tuesday. Okay. I'm jumping ahead of myself because I want to talk about Mercury too. But we'll just highlight the full moon for a moment before I bring Mercury into the mix. With this full moon, the key player that's going to make things a little bit different, other than Mercury who's popping up, is Uranus. Uranus is creating what's called a T square with the moon and the sun. And Uranus has this tendency to shake things up, to bring spontaneity and excitement into the picture. Or sometimes it could be seen as chaos. As I like to tell my husband, I make life interesting, aka I can bring a lot of chaos with me. Let's just call it interesting. So Uranus shakes things up. There's a revelation. So with this full moon, as it's coming to culmination, it's this revelation. It's here to shake things up, to help you connect to an understanding of who you are as an individual, where you can step and step into the place where you reclaim your power, bring on that confidence. And when you do that, you're celebrating all of the gifts that you brought into this world. It's not being braggadocious, it's not lording it over others. It's just recognizing that it's okay to be different. And that's some of the Aquarian energy coming in too. One of the big things that I'm really into right now is the whole barefoot shoe movement. And I've been in and out of that for a long time. But some of these barefoot shoes, they look like clown shoes on me. I mean, they're really silly. And I know, like, when I'm out in public and you see people, they go, and that's a bad energy thing. That's why I didn't look directly at you. If anyone does that, right, they look you up and down, they've just lowered your energy field and lowered your strength. And you're like, oh, no, 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 no. Ground, right? Root, flesh, fill. And if you don't know the root, flesh, fill, hold on, I'm going to put this in the comments. Tech today for me. Let me tell you what. I think that's why Mercury is popping up. But the irenamiller.co/get calm, that is the exercise that I encourage all of you to do. And I'm just going to show it on the screen to help you maintain your identity of who you are. It's a good energetic hygiene practice. It helps you strengthen your auric field so that when other people's opinions, when group thought, group mind come in, when the fear comes in and it makes you doubt yourself, who are you? Again, I'm not going to look at the camera. Who are you to think you can do this? I don't want to place that energy in your space. No way. But those old records, when they come up and they play over and over, you're like, I'm going to stand strong like the tree. I'm going to root. I'm going to flush anything out of my space that doesn't serve me. And I'm going to fill up with this beautiful golden light. And this that I have on the screen, irenamiller.co/get calm. That brings you through the whole 2-minute guided visualization to strengthen your auric field. It's one of the best practices you can do. I highly, highly recommend it. I feel like it's as important as washing your hands. You can do it when you're washing your hands to stop you from catching the energetic germs. So when you are going through your week and you're coming up to this full moon in Leo, I would encourage you, if there are things in your life that have been out of balance, think of that Six of Pentacles. See if I still have them up. Nope, I shuffled the cards. If something's been out of balance, then let it go. Because the full moon is this shining of a light of recognizing it's time to celebrate how far we've come, to recognize what hasn't worked, to celebrate what has, and to close the chapter, which means we start to prepare to release. The waning moon really helps us with that releasing, to release the things that either don't serve you, could be a thought, it could be an item, it could be a relationship, but to let go of those things so that you have room for the next growth cycle. Okay, I'll just take that off the screen. Let's get into the week itself. So Monday, we start off with the moon in Cancer, but by noon Eastern time, it moves into Leo. Oh, and one jumped out. Holy cannoli. Who jumped out? When a card jumps out, you pay attention. So what's most important you need to know about Monday? Celebrate. So there's a graduation. You are ready for the next level. This is a moment where you look back and you say, how far have I come? The thing I love about this deck is that the first card in the deck is a young gal, and she's getting ready to fall back, take a leap of faith, essentially, into the sacred geometric shape of the seed of life, part of the flower of life. And this sacred geometric shape contains all of the knowledge and awareness. It's like an acorn. It has the blueprint of where your life is meant to go. So you talk about instructions, an instruction manual for life. The seed of life can help reveal that. And then around her, it's hard to see, but it's a snake eating its tail, the Ouroboros. And this is that cycle of, that representation of cycles of life, birth, death, and then back in to connection with the universal. And a practice that I would give you for Monday is what has been used for centuries with the yogis to represent that cycle of creation, which is the singing of Om. It goes not just necessarily the OM, but the AUM and the silence. So when you sing it, Om, the sounds hit every part of the palate, the back, the middle, and then the lips, and then it goes into silence to help you reconnect. Because when we sing Om, we are recognizing that our actions have an effect, that we are a part of the larger collective. Yes. And we come down to this physical human experience to experience the individuality. Think of it like a pulse this week. All right, so Tuesday, moon in Leo. What's most important that you need to know? Oh, the world card came up again. Okay, well, now this is interesting. When cards come up twice, okay, I'm going to just tune in because I want to make sure that I shuffled the deck enough. But here's the thing about the Leo moon. The Leo moon is, it's very interesting. My brother's a Leo, and Leos are very sensitive. I find that they wear their hearts on their sleeves. They care deeply, and they're very loyal. Think of the king and queen, like the lion or lioness of the jungle. They watch over their pack, the mama bear, mama bear lion, mama lion, and her little cubs. They stand up for them. They protect them. And how do they know when to take action? Well, they really rely on instinct. And something this time, as I look at the card that really stands out, is this golden wave of light coming from the heavens above. It's like an energetic download. This could be even representative of absolute, I'll say healing streams of grace or absolute scalar waves. This can carry energy and data and information with it that inform you of your next best steps. Because sometimes when we reach a graduation point, when we reach that pinnacle of success, it's like, what next? And so I'm going to invite you to take time to tune into that divine guidance. And I hesitate to use the word meditation because sometimes it's like, oh, I can't just sit there. Go for a walk, sit near water, go swimming. If you know what your moon is, do your moon. So if your moon's in a water element like Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, do something associated with water. If it's an earth moon like Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, go outside, be near the trees. Maybe if it's warm enough, go barefoot, lie on the grass. If you have a fire moon of Leo or Sagittarius or Aries, do something physical where you can really just get the emotion up and out, like do a yoga practice or go for a run so that you can, or even a walk, so that you can clear your head and actually hear the guidance. And if you're an air sign moon, Libra or Aquarius or Gemini, then write, journal, listen to music. Okay. All right. Wednesday. Wednesday is the full moon. So what's most important that you need to know about this full moon in Leo? See who pops out. All right. Page of Cups, the romance card. So this is love. I just love love. It's when pigs can fly. It's being able to suspend disbelief, right? His feet are up in the air. He's got the flying piggy with him, the little heart. He's got his mind on love. And Leo is love. I think of Richard the Lionheart. You've got that love that the lion energy brings forward. They are passionate. It is a fire sign. So take some time to tune into what you love. Make sure my computer doesn't fall asleep over there. Do the practice of, I love cold mornings and warm blankets, or I love, one of my bonfires, like fire pits. What was I thinking? I love bonfires. I love hot chocolate. And tune into what you love, and then start to tune into what you love about yourself. I love my curiosity. I love my patience. I love my ability to spot patterns, whatever it is. Just do that little practice of I love, and you're going to find your energy starting to shift and becoming more aware that when love is present, fear just doesn't have the energy. It's not being fed anymore and it can't stick around. And that's the thing about fear and even lies, is that if we entertain it and we keep engaging with it, it's going to feed it energetically and it's going to give it more strength and more power. Have you guys ever heard of thought forms? Let me know in the comments. It's an interesting concept, but when enough people think about something, they put an energy into it where the thought almost or can take on a form. So if there's a lot of fear in certain areas, whether it's like a fear of Bigfoot or a troll underneath the bridge, you can start to almost see physical experiences of, oh, is that really a truth? Is this thought becoming real? Now, thoughts are powerful. So a practice like the I love practice, that starts to get into the subconscious, the things that you love about yourself. And then you will naturally shift your energetic frequency and start attracting more of those things, whether it's the relationships where people respect you and love you for those unique qualities, or they're drawn to you because they are looking for an expert in those areas. Okay. Thursday, moon moves into Virgo, and now the moon is waning. So when we have a waning moon, it's good for letting go, clearing out, and it's a Virgo moon, one of my most favorites, because that's the get things done moon. Love that energy because, sometimes it's just hard to do the paperwork or look at the details or do the monotonous everyday kind of chores. But the Virgo moon gives you the energy to get it done. And I love it so much. So 6, here's that 6 again popping up. 6 of Swords. This is the card of where you go, there you are. And very apropos after the card for Wednesday, the full moon, which is be mindful of your thoughts. This is a wonderful, beautiful person who is going towards calmer waters. It is saying this card that the hard part's over. You're going towards calmer seas ahead. Things are going to get calmer, less turbulent. But as you go there, make sure that you're not bringing the old thoughts. She's bringing this bag, the old thoughts with you that are going to attract the same cycles and patterns. This could be, I'm leaving the job. I've got a new job offer. Yay. And then you get the new job offer and you realize, oh no, this boss is just like the one that I left. The coworkers are toxic and the same. This is terrible. Or, I always end up in the same relationship, dating the same person. How does this happen? We want to do the internal work of being mindful of the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the old stories that are keeping us stuck and unable to move forward. So, whether it's an old story of fear or lack or old beliefs, self sabotaging thoughts, this is the opportunity to say, I'm letting it go. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. The root flush fill, that get calm, is one of the great ways. I'll put that up again, irenamiller.co/get calm. That's one of the great ways to help start to release those blocks. I do work with people one-on-one right now. Usually it's in groups, but I've got a couple slots open for the next month. So if you are curious about having a one-on-one energy session with me or a reading, then definitely look for the links around this video. And actually, I guess I could put that up, couldn't I? Let me do that. Why not? I'm being bold, the Leo boldness and courageousness. So irenamiller.co/energy. How do you find out where your moon is? Great question. So finding out where your moon is, I can do a reading for you and help you out with that most definitely. But an easy way to do that is if you have your birth data. You need your birth date, month, day, and year, birthplace, and ideally birth time. If you don't have your birth time, then you've got a 50-50 shot of figuring out your moon. And there's something called rectification with astrology work and reading natal charts that can help you figure out where your moon would be most likely. But there's a place called astro.com, and astro.com is a free astrology software online. It's somewhat limited in its capacity, but it is so powerful and you can do so much with it. So if you're not a professional astrologer and not aspiring to be one, it's great to use. So Krista, astro.com, you go there, you're going to do, and I have a whole course on how to figure this out too. If you're curious, let me know. But astro.com, birthday, month, day, year, place, and time, and then they'll tell you where your moon is. And that's a very powerful thing to know where your moon is. I highly encourage everybody to figure that out. And Jasmine, yes, love is in the air. Good. And you love yourself with warm, soft things. Oh, that's awesome. So that sounds a bit like a Taurus moon or a Cancer moon, even because Cancer likes the comfort and coziness and to nest. Ooh, and I've got cards popping out again. Holy cannoli. See who's popping out. But yeah, it's nice because when we go into stress, when we go into fear or distress, we're going to naturally tend to want to do our moon things. And they just make us feel more comfortable and at ease. So when you know where your moon is, if you have a moon in Aquarius, you're going to want to detach from the emotions and you're just going to want to go somewhere and be alone. And if you have a partner who chases after you and they're like, what's the matter? Tell me, I'm here to listen. I'm here for you. That's not going to work well. That's the other thing about relationships and doing synastry, it's called in astrology, to figure out, am I a good match with this person? Rather than look at your sun sign, look at your moon sign, because that's how you live on a daily basis as well. So if you're like a Leo moon with an Aquarius moon, you guys are going to be opposites. It's going to be a little bit tricky. But, we always find a way to navigate. And the one way is knowing, right? Because then we stop beating up our partner or beating up ourselves that we can't be exactly who they want us to be. And like, okay, wait a second. This is one of the best ways to work with me. So my moon is in Cancer. I want to emote. I want to be, cuddled and held and loved and have chocolate. And, that's great. Luckily, I have a good moon partner. All right. So tuning in to, where are we? Friday's energy. Friday moon still in Virgo, still can get things done. What's most important that you need to know? Balance. So this is a big theme this week. So balance, balance, balance. Where are you spending your energy, your resources? Is it in harmony? I would encourage you, if you're not familiar with Ma'at, and some people say Ma'at, it's M as in mom, A-A-T, Egyptian goddess. just kind of lean into her mythology, the archetype, and just kind of explore a little bit. There's something when we get to the other side that many mediums talk about, which is a life review where we look back. Sometimes it's even just, as we get older, we look back and we say, wow, how did I expend my energy, my time, my love, my artistry, my gifts, my money, my resources, essentially? How did I spend them? Was I always kind of out of balance? Was I always striving to catch up? Where are the places this week? This full moon is telling you step into your power, stop giving it away. Make sure that the relationships feel in divine, right, energetic balance, which is not always apples to apples or oranges to oranges. It's a feeling that has to sit well with your soul. So Friday too is a great day if you have to do like anything admin wise with numbers, if you need to sit down and make a budget. And it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, my Friday friends. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good one. All right, Saturday. Saturday, moon is in Libra. Oh, holy cannoli. Well, now that's really about balance. Okay, what's most important that you need to know about Saturday? The Judgment card. So this is a card of awakening. What I love about this is, how we got the two for Monday and Tuesday, we got the world card twice. And that second time came through, it was about this energetic download that is there for the receiving. And that moment with the full moon in Leo on Wednesday, where Uranus is the great revealer and it helps sometimes encourage these momentous moments of breakthroughs. By Saturday, there's going to be an understanding and an inkling of what that breakthrough is all about. There is this moment where you just know. It's like I can't keep living this life. I can't keep trying to fit in to something and change who I am in order to make everyone else comfortable. There's kind of a calling home. When I see this card, I also think about our soul calling. Sometimes we might have been raised in a home, a place, a society, a culture, a community where it could have been very challenging to follow our heart's path because it went against the cultural norms. And this week there is that soul calling, like where can you no longer how do I want to say, where can you no longer discount yourself or sell yourself short or deny your soul in order to make other people comfortable? We want to take into account, yes, polite society, we're not going to do anything reckless and crazy. But what I'm talking about is like, stopping to deny. That was the word that I was trying to get my tongue on, to deny who you are. Hmm. So remembering who you are, very, very interesting. Okay, Sunday, Libra. So Libra is about harmony. It is about balance. So that theme of balance this week, what's most important that you need to know. And as I shuffle, hello, she jumped out. Three of Wands. So the decision's already been made by your soul. And it's that moment of waiting for the opportunity to come in. So here's the thing, the balance, where we're weighing our options, we're weighing our energetic exchanges. As we've been talking through this, hopefully in your heart and your mind, some things have been coming to the surface. And some understandings, most likely as we're getting into this week, it's a confirmation as well. These things that you've been turning over in your mind, like, can I keep going on in this area? Do I need to shift directions? A lot of those decisions have already been made because when the Three of Wands comes up, she's waiting for her opportunity. The decisions and choices that she has made are creating new doorways to open, new waves of opportunity and prosperity to come along her path. And she's waiting for the right one. So there is a patience element. It's not just a running towards the first wave that crosses her path. I'm going to encourage you with Sunday to kind of bide your time in the sense of be aware of what comes up. Libra is an air sign. So just listen to like the conversations that you pick up on. You might overhear someone talking and discover, you know what, that would be an incredible opportunity for me. I'm going to be Leo, bold, and speak up and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for that opportunity. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. Oh, and Jasmine, you're a Libra moon. Oh, I love it. Um, thank you so much for coming and being here. It's such a joy to have this time with all of you. I hope you have an incredible week and that your week is filled with joy and laughter and happy, delightful, joyful surprises. And I look forward to seeing you all here next Monday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Have a great week, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, guys. Bye, Krista. You're welcome.